Hey guys, and welcome to yet another update 17 update video. Now we're going to be looking at another weapon buffed in the Echoes of the Sentient update. We're going to have a second look at the newly buffed Grineer shotgun, the Heck. Now, the Heck's a weapon I've reviewed before and absolutely loved. It's one of the oldest weapons in the game, dating back to even before open beta started. It was actually pretty good before the buff to shotguns, so what can we actually expect from it now? Well, with the base damage increase literally trebling to a massive 525.1, with the majority 341.3 coming in the form of puncture, 78.8 as impact, and 105 as slash damage, making it one of the highest damaging weapons per shot in the game. And when you couple that with a pretty average 10% crit chance, 200% multiplier, and a pretty decent 25% status chance, you have the makings of a fantastic weapon. It should be noted though that status on shotguns, while looking good, especially on the Heck, it can be very misleading, as I'll talk about a little bit later in the video. However, the Heck not only comes with those pretty damn decent stats, also comes with a very good pellet spread, and the least damage fall off over range of all of the shotguns, meaning the Sniper Heck is back with a vengeance. Even the reload got a slight buff, being dropped down to 2 seconds, which makes the Heck feel much more usable in those close range engagements. In addition to this, the Heck also has access to the Steel Meridian Augment mod, Scattered Justice, which boosts the multi-shot of the Heck up to a huge 320% when combined with Hell's Chamber, meaning that it's going to fire 29 pellets every time, with an additional 40% chance to fire 30 pellets at a time, which boosts the damage potential of the Heck up by insane numbers. And that's before you even take into account the 1000 radial blast damage that the Syndicate proc does every time the bar fills. It is absolutely amazing. Now, in terms of downsides, there aren't many at all. The 4-shot magazine is definitely not ideal in situations with many enemies, so things like the infested, and at 2 seconds for each of those 4 shots, it's still not the fastest reload in the world. Punch through on this pretty much is a must, since it really increases the effectiveness of those 4 shots in the magazine. It also does seem to fire a bit slower. I'm not 100% sure what the fire rate was before the shotgun buff, but the Heck, at least to me, does feel as if it fires very slightly slower. Now, this is not really backed up by numbers at this point, but it is definitely a feeling that I got from actually playing with it. Okay, so let's move on to starting to mod the Heck. Now, it doesn't come with any polarities as standard, however we're going to add 5 former, which is going to be 3 Vs and 2 dashes. Now, we've got a bunch of mods remaining the same between the 3 builds. We've got Prime Point Blank for damage, Hell's Chamber for multi-shot, Seeking Fury for increasing that reload speed slightly, as well as giving a bit more punch through, and also we've got Scattered Justice, which is going to further increase that multi-shot, as well as add that justice effect to the weapon. Now, in terms of the actual elemental, we're going to go with pretty much straight 90% mods the whole way through, with the exception of this first one here, which is Blaze, which is going to add the heat damage as well as the extra white damage. So, in terms of how we're actually going to go with the elemental combos, we're going to go Radiation Viral with the Grineer. So that's going to be Blaze and Charged Shell for that radiation damage, Contagious Spread and Chilling Grasp for the viral damage. Now, against the Corpus, Chilling Grasp and Charged Shell for that magnetic damage against the shield. And because of the way Blaze works, we're going to go with maxing out that heat damage. Heat doesn't really have any negatives against the Corpus. It has a little bit of a negative against things like the tech shields, but you've got the magnetic on here to deal with that anyway. So going for this, Blaze is too good a mod to lose. So really pushing that heat damage is definitely a good option rather than going for the poison. And gas, I absolutely hate gas damage, so I go absolutely nowhere near that. Now, in terms of the Void build, we're going to go with Corrosive and Heat, Charged Shell and Contagious Spread for the Corrosive, and Incendiary Coat and Blaze once again for that heat damage. If you're running the Corrosive Projection, you can change Charged Shell out for Chilling Grasp, and then you've got the Viral and Heat that you need for the Corrosive Projection build. So is it worth the time, effort and format invested into it? And the answer to that is, of course it is. The Heck is by far one of the hardest hitting weapons in the game right now. The damage output from it is absolutely insane. This thing one-shots enemies for days, and up close it is arguably one of the strongest damaging things in the game. That combination of a fantastic base damage, plus that fantastic 320% multi-shot, Not only is the Heck amazing for damage, but it's a lot of fun as well. Okay, with the fire rate and the reload, it can feel a little clunky while you're trying to still get used to it, but that feeling when you do an aim glide into a nullifier bubble and give him 30 pellets of misery to the face absolutely negates any feeling of clunkiness any day of the week. Now, I mentioned how status on shotguns can be misleading, and how when you look at the Heck, 25% status seems to be pretty awesome. Well, because of the way the mechanics are with shotguns, unless you can hit 100% status, it's not really worth modding for status. Now, the thing with shotguns is that there are two mechanics governing two different parts of the weapon stats. Critical chance is done per pellet, so for example the Heck has 10% critical chance. That means every pellet has a 10% chance to crit. Makes sense, and it's pretty easy to understand, right? Well, status is different. Say for example on the Heck with the 3 dual stat elemental and status mods like my old build had, it pushes that status chance up to 92.9% chance to proc status, which sounds pretty damn nice. Well, it does until you realise that the status chance is divided per pellet. Now, on my old build, as I said, I went the 3 dual stat route because with 14, maybe 15 pellets, the percentages stacked up nicely. However, with that video, honestly, I did make a bit of a mistake. I didn't take into account the Syndicate mod taking the pellet count up to 29 or 30 pellets. This means that realistically, I mean, let's say if you divide 92.9 by 30, you're going to get the chance per pellet, which works out to something about 3% chance per pellet. But because it's only 92% out of 100% anyway, the actual number is actually a bit smaller than that. Now, honestly, I'm pretty bad at maths, so maybe someone better than I could work out the actual number. But honestly, I felt that the damage loss, the switch from the elemental to those dual stats was not worth the potential status increase at all, which is why I made that switch to the 90% elementals. But as you can see, while a shotgun can appear to have amazing status chance, it can be seriously misleading as to the realistic status chance that you actually have on it. Now, in terms of changes in how you mod the Heck, I don't think there's many more changes I would make. If you like the status build, then while I wouldn't recommend it, it's definitely an option. It will save you a few former if you don't want to put this many former on. I've heard of people doing similar things to my Tigris and boosting magazine size. I've seen people put reload mods on, fire rate mods. Any of these honestly are reasonable alternatives. The build I've shown you is how I found it to be the most effective. The highest damage to usability ratio that I found personally. However, that's not to say that personal preference means nothing, and it does actually play a big role in how you find the weapon to be best for you. Now, I know people are going to want me to compare this to the Tigris, especially the quad-shot Tigris. And honestly, they both play so differently that they may as well be in different classes. They're both shotguns, sure, but it's like comparing the Strand to the Phage. The Heck does have puncture damage, which is technically weaker than slash damage, so will drop off sooner than the Tigris. However, the quad-shot Tigris drops damage to get the 4-shot mag, so everything sort of balances out. It's all going to come down to playstyle. Play with them both, you'll find out fairly quickly which one you prefer to use. But I love them both, I absolutely do. Although, honestly, personally, I'm addicted to the quad-shot Tigris right now. Something about it just has me absolutely hooked. Perhaps it's multiplying bodies every time you shoot it that has me hooked on that. But to sum it up, it's got insane damage, fantastic fun, and it's a brilliant weapon all round. The Heck really has come out as one of the front runners after the shotgun buff, and I love seeing a weapon that's been in the game as long as the Heck regain the spotlight. It's a lovely bit of nostalgia. It's worth maxing, and it will be some of the easiest and most fun former you've ever done. That I can absolutely guarantee. As always, guys, more Update 17 content coming in the next few days, and I shall see you in the next episode.